expired. And we have three aspects to it. One is guaranteed residual value, which is the assurance given to the lessor that the value of the asset will be a specified amount at the end of the lease term. And then we have estimated residual value, and then expected residual value, which is the payable amount if the guaranteed residual value is higher than the estimated residual value. And the guaranteed residual value will be set on in the lease component level in terms and condition, for example, over here. And then the expected residual value will be under the activation level over here. And if we have multiple terms with a guaranteed residual value, the latest term will be considered. For example, if we have GRVs in both base rent and an extension, and if both are likely to be exercised, then the GRV for the extension will be used. And we have a scenario here where the base rent is 1,000 and it is for 12 months, and the guaranteed residual value is 20,000, and the estimated residual value is 5,000. So the expected residual value is 20,000 minus 5,000, that's 15,000. And we will be adding the guaranteed residual value in the lease component level in terms and condition over here. And then the expected payment amount will be in the AG level, that's 15,000 over here. And this is the all column schedule. We can see that the maximum GRV is 20,000 and expected payment is 15,000. And one thing to note here is this is just about having an extra payment at the end of the period. So I can show you. Right now, we have a contract already ready, which is not sent for approval yet. And I want to show you the lease component, terms and condition, and we set the guaranteed residual value over here. And as per the scenario, we have guaranteed residual value of 20,000. 20,000. And I'm approving the contract. And in the AG level, I am having the expected payment of 15,000. Send to assessment, approve, we confirm the classification. Then we set the reception amount. Activated. And then when you see the schedule, here we can see the maximum GRV payment is 20,000 and the expected payment is 15,000. And now if we do a lease modification, let's say on December 31st, new term. And I'm going to the lease component level. And we have an extension of 30,000. And this time I'm I'm checking the likely to exercise button so that it will take into the account the extension. So I'm going to approve the contract. And the AG level, I'm going to check this. Send to assessment. And the schedule has been generated. And if you go to the schedule, we can see that the maximum GRV amount is 30,000. And okay, I'm not.
So since there is no expected guaranteed
the expected
residual
guaranteed
value, there's no actual additional payment. So this is for informational level. So the guaranteed residual value can be changed. You can do a subsequent event to also introduce the expected GRV. So all these are possible situations. Pratibha, you can either delete this draft maybe, and you can do another one where you can introduce the expected.
So again, I'm doing a lease modification. So I'm going to the lease component level. Make sure there is extension. And I'll approve them. Approve. And then I go to the AG level and make sure this is checked. And the expected amount is say 25,000. Send to assessment. Submit. And then we go to the schedule. All column, all year. And you can see the event has taken place in January 2023. And the lease, the last payment will be 25,000. Do anyone have any question?
No questions so far, Pratibha.
Then I will hand over to you.
To me. Okay, so can you just stop a bit here on this screen? I just wanted to add a few more details. We wanted to present to you the way to introduce and to handle both the guaranteed residual value and the expected guaranteed residual value, which basically translate in an additional payment. This is how you enter it, and you saw Pratibha walked you through the details both at activation and through a lease modification. You can always introduce just the guaranteed residual value. And one note here, all these details are based on information that you have in your contract, in your documentation related to the specific lease contract at hand. So you might have at inception only the guaranteed residual value. You can introduce it the way Pratibha showed it to you. Through a lease modification, you can change it. However, the guaranteed residual value in itself will not have any impact to the lease liability or to the right of use asset. The one that will generate an impact will be the expected guaranteed residual value. that is the one that you can introduce at activation group level. So during inception, this is where you enter the amount, and while you perform modification, because again, that one can be changed as well, once again at the activation group level. Once you do, you will have that additional payment. It will always be an additional line. You will notice that the system will create an additional line in the schedule to introduce the guaranteed residual value, the expected one, and you will see it in the list of minimum lease payment. Being there, it means that it will be part of the present value of the minimum lease payment, so the lease liability will be adjusted. And with the same value, the asset will be adjusted as well. And Pratibha, if you can scroll a bit to your right so we can show the deltas that were created for both the liability and the asset. As you perform the event in January, we can see where the system calculated the adjustment, but the actual minimum lease payment was added at the very end of the contract. And Pratibha mentioned earlier, it's very important as you are adding especially extension terms. So if you add more extension base rent, it's very important that you update the details about the guaranteed residual value. It is always the last payment. So it's always one payment and it's going to be considered in the last payment. So with that, we covered the topic of the guaranteed residual value. If you have any questions, please let us know. If not, I'm going to switch back to my presentation.